Welcome to Double D-Fense. I'm Liz.
And I'm Christine.
We're bringing you an all-female perspective on the NHL,
plus the PWHL, college hockey, and everything in between. Thank you for joining us.
Well, hi, Christine.
Well, happy Friday.
Happy
Ranger-free day Friday, right?
It has been a Ranger-free couple of weeks.
I'm almost like, ooh, with everything going on.
Happy NHL playoffs. So in today's episode, and welcome to Double D-Fense, if you are joining us for the first time, welcome. We are your all-female NHL and PWHL podcast. We're here to talk today about a couple of different things. Obviously, the very weird NHL playoffs are happening, and we will get into some of the weirdest things that I think we've seen in the last week as the first round is happening right now. And then if you wait till the end of this episode, we have a very, very special unboxing for you. If you are watching us on YouTube, you can see exactly what it is. If you are on audio only, we will tell you Christine has gotten her hands on one of the giveaways that McDonald's Canada has been giving away for the NHL. We are super excited to open it. So we're going to do that at the end of the episode. Let's get into the weird playoffs that we have been seeing. So everything from fights to broken glass to roasted chicken on the ice. We will get
to
into
the dinner menu.
That.
I mean, let's just call that. So look, we started this weekend off. We were away wine tasting and enjoying our lives, and then came back to chaos. So it's been literally that for every team. So I'm trying to think of where to start. First, look, we've seen an extraordinary amount of fights, like right off the bat. I don't think I usually see so much fighting, so that you can see the tension's hard. I think these matchups are just really, really good for this round, except for, I know you might disagree with it with, California. So I know we're getting reamed over here on these teams. But look, one of the first games had, Carolina, Ottawa, have this crazy outset of things where they, Carolina scored a winning goal. It got called back because of offsides. And the penalty was created in that time. So a lot of controversy on this. It's in the rules. So they end up getting the goal called back, went back into, and it was just toward the end of the game. And it was warranted a penalty shot. The penalty shot failed, and it went into overtime. Canes ended up winning that game. So lots of crazy stuff, because all throughout social media, it's funny, the people defending it through rules. But I'm at the stage of life where I don't like looking stuff up. So stop doing these crazy things. To these big brawl fights where some of these games have had their penalty boxes full, and including the Flyers. I mean, like, that's always fun to watch.
Do you think that this is tension among the players because they're at just this point where it's so stressful? Or do you think there's any strategy behind it? Like, there's been more pushing to fight because it might break up the momentum from another team?
Right. I don't see either one of those just yet. Usually the tensions come more into the series.
We're still early. We're still early on. They should still be feeling each other out.
It also could be a combination, like I've been doing this all season, right? I think it's a combination of more than one thing. Look, because of the weirdness of this whole season, I think some people have underperformed, and now's their chance to kind of change it up. I mean, I'm one of the things in watching these games is just, why couldn't these guys play this way before?
I know. I just will
it's
say,
not hard.
Playoff hockey is another level. Every single game I have turned on without fail has an intensity and speed to it that just like it does not exist during the regular season. And I've said this, and I've talked about this on this podcast too. The playoffs are the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs and finals are a different sport than what is being played during the regular season. Congratulations to Colorado. They won the regular season. I actually think that the President's Trophy should be a much bigger deal than it is, but there should be almost like two separate championships. Like the President's Trophy, I think, is you earn that in one way. It's very specific, and then the playoffs become something entirely different. So it's exciting. It's like we've started a whole new season.
Yeah, it's a complete reset, and that's what's really fun about it. It gives everybody a chance to start fresh, and and you see, in a way, you see two different games going on. Being that, and this is where I see it in my mathematical mind. You have the two like teams that are in the middle, which they're really evenly matched. We're seeing that in a couple of games, but then you have the outliers. You have first place and last place and wild cards playing, where the way people put it, it's like it's a bye week. It should be easy wins. I'm always the one that's like, hey, it's a great sport. If everyone wins at home, the stronger team of the season is going to win, and we already are seeing that fail, which is fun. And so and that's where I kind of go. It's like, where is somebody going to fail at home? And what's happening when they fail. I like to get analytical back, especially when it's not my team. So, and that's where it's been fun to watch. It's funny how like Buffalo has been doing great, and they're like, I think emotionally they're still considered to be an underdog. And they've been playing well. They're leading Boston to 1, and that's great, because Boston still fails at the end of the game. When they're losing, they just start fighting and they lose their minds, and then they lose, and that's what's going to get them every time. So it's fun watching. It's fun watching some of these teams lose. So, because now I'm just picky and picking out dumb stuff, like like I don't want Ottawa to win because of Kachuk. I don't want. I'm happy watching Pens fans cry. I want Panarin to last a little longer, but it's okay. And it's fun to kind of see the emotion. I find I'm watching the game somewhat rooting for another team a little bit. Like I like Minnesota, but I'm okay with not like the Quinn. No, I don't think they need more. So it's kind of this balance of kind of watching these games. My bracket, look, I think I picked Colorado and Sabres. I think I kind of went right there, just with my heart and my mind going together. And we'll see. I'm usually stinky at the bracket stuff, so.
Because there's always upsets. There are always weird upsets in all of this. I think I have Colorado as well, because it's hard to watch Colorado and not think that they're going to dominate. I mean, they're up 3-0 right now against the Kings, so you can kind of see. I'm also hoping that the Kings put up a little bit more of a fight, because as the Ducks move on, and as you know, if you've been following this podcast, we are paying close attention to the Ducks Oilers, which is tied at 1-1 right now. Ducks had a great showing. The Ducks actually had a fairly respectable first game against the Oilers too. It was back and forth for quite a while. It happened to go the Oilers' way, and then the second game it happened to go the Ducks' way. But the Ducks are looking good. So just feeling like if they ever get to a point where they're up against Colorado, you're going to need to have them up against a very tired Colorado. And the Kings right now, I don't think, are given the Avalanche a run for their money yet.
So I'm going to add in a little flavor to that and my take on stuff. We'll start here, and then we'll kind of go in other areas too. So when we're talking about, these Southern California teams, the first game with Ducks and Edmonton was clear Edmonton, like classic. This is how they've killed the Kings, is like they come from behind in the last few minutes and they just freaking score. And, and that's what makes you hate them. It's like, where do you come from? And like, how does this happen? Yeah. And that's just their technique. That's what they do. The Ducks have done an amazing job, because one of the things is they've held McDavid to no goals, which he's now at a record for no goals in the longest streak. So it'll be fun. Ducks play tonight, so that'll be a fun game to watch. Ducks are at home. I was thinking about going to the game, but people are a little crazy with the prices right now. So we'll see. I'm still thinking about maybe Sunday. And for the Kings, look, I know there's been a little controversy last night. Like they were getting some slack for pulling their goalie, like while the puck was at mid ice, and they ended up losing. But I'm gonna tell you, like, I like Colorado, and Colorado plays extremely well. They are the oldest team. They are the most seasoned team, which makes them the most experienced team. And they are playing exactly that, in that format. So you have to, trying to even match their energy is quite a task in itself. And the Kings, with the exception of the empty goal last night, have held this game to a 1-goal game, with Panarin scoring a couple goals. So had they not acquired Panarin, who knows? It could have been a bigger difference. Again, being that the Kings came in at the last wild card spot, they're not expected to hold on. Although the Kings are scrappy in that format, like in that way, they've done it before. I think the expectation for LA to think that the Kings can overcome Colorado is a little high, and it's not because they're not doing the work. It's just that Colorado's that good, and I want them to give them a run for their money. You're right. They play tomorrow in LA. So, let's try to not, get a sweep. My thing is I never want to be the first team to go out either. So come on, Kings.
Yeah.
Hold on. At least we're the later time slot. Maybe the Flyers will go first, or the Penguins will go first. So that's the hope. And we'll see. So again, a good game. I enjoy Colorado. I don't not like them, and so they're really the team to watch right now, to see if they get any flaws in their game. So that's been fun. So my focus on you has been like Ducks, Kings, the Sabres. So the Sabres had a very come from behind, classic, great, exciting win and scoring, I think, 4 goals. I mean, something crazy in their first game to come from behind to take over Boston. And now they're kind of playing evenly matched in stuff. So that series is fun to watch. Canes is another one. Like the Canes they're looking to be the favorite right now on the East Coast, but they're playing a very matched Ottawa team. They're just getting lucky and scoring in these overtimes. So, so again, some of these other ones, Dallas and Wild, again, I think are very evenly matched, and it's just, luck of the draw, especially when you go into overtimes, where, it's just one mistake. I mean, these guys have been looking tired. I think a little tired more sooner than anything, maybe because they're fighting so much and being, exerting their energy elsewhere. But continue it, please. I'm not saying stop fights. I'm saying bring it on, because I love it. I love it all. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here. Are you watching? Are you watching the overtimes and the fights and all the crazy stuff in this first round?
We are watching it all.
They are here, and they are live and in process. And DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has a new customer offer for you. Bet player props, bet live from the opening faceoff to the final horn, which may take a while because every moment matters. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 and you'll get $100 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code THPN so you're ready for the moment. That's code THPN. Turn $5 into $100 in bonus bets instantly. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer. Copyright 2026 NHL. All rights reserved. And let's also talk about some of the weird stuff that we've seen. Because I can tell you, I think it was game 1 of the Ducks Edmonton. I think somebody in Edmonton threw what looked to be rotisserie chicken on the ice.
That was the last game. Yeah, that was the last game.
So what, I don't know if people are just losing their minds, because I do think the fans are losing their minds a little bit. You can see it. People are a little bit unhinged. There's been a few fights that have broken out.
Oh, yes,
like amongst fans of the same teams. I think I saw a fight between 2 Edmonton fans after the last Ducks game, the last Edmonton Ducks game. So I think the fans are losing their minds. there was the incident in the Kings Colorado game where I think fans must have been banging on the glass, and they hit it so hard that it completely shattered into
Yep.
the benches. So I mean, there's
The
just like
coaches'
some,
benches. It got all over the coach.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's some crazy stuff. Like, how much do you have to be moving that glass for that to happen? That's
But,
pretty exceptional.
well, the glass happens. It was a big dude, if you see the video. So,
I couldn't see, they didn't show who did it up close, so I didn't see
yeah.
that.
When they came back, it was the couple and they all got cheered. So, it happened. It's happened before, so the glass, it's kind of random, I think, too. But yeah, you're right. It's crazy. I'm like, I need to know who smuggled a rotisserie chicken, because if you saw it on the ice, it went everywhere. And that one came right after the Oilers scored and took the lead, right? And so somebody in celebration threw it, and it happened, even though someone on Twitter's arguing with me about it. I feel like, and you had texted me, it was great because it really stopped the Oilers' momentum, because they were on fire at that moment. It was, again, going toward the end of the game, and it stopped for a second. They needed to clean it up. It didn't take long to do so, but just enough. Like, instead of having a timeout, you had rotisserie chicken. I'm like, and that was great. And what happened after that? Oh, Ducks scored, very shortly after that, play resumed and went to win the game. So I think Oiler fans are going to think twice about bringing chickens and throwing them, because now it went against them.
Yeah,
And I was
note to
telling Matt,
self.
like, maybe that's what the Kings are missing, is like, something to throw. He's like, what, are you kidding? We just got glass smashed on our coaches, and that didn't do us any good. So it is what it is. Look, we're seeing that, and also, like, I'll tell you, the weirdness continues, right? So look, everyone who's watching, you're seeing like like some of these refs are going back and forth with calling little things, calling everything.
Or
The
not
embellishment.
calling anything.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, some of these games, they're just letting a lot go. And then others, it's crazy, right? So we're getting back into embellishment again. And the controversy on the fact that why does there have to be 2 penalties? I mean, we've discussed this before, and there shouldn't be. If you're embellishing, you're making something up, and you should be penalized individually, and the other person wouldn't have created it. If somebody else, penalized you and tripped you just because you fell more,
Harder, more
extravagantly,
dramatically.
you still fell,
Yeah.
So this is ridiculous. But we have 2 notable embellishments, right? One is McKinnon, and so none of these people are known for it, but look, it is playoffs, as you said, right? And
Different sport.
And also Sidney Crosby's first embellishment penalty after all these years, even though he's a dirty little, whatever shit, I will say. And he was finally caught on his first embellishment. And if you haven't seen it, please look for it. There's a video of the penalty box with them watching the replay, and this woman giving him a look, and this side eye look, he looks at her, and then he just cracks up. So that. He and meanwhile the coach is like, he would never do that. He never does that. He did it. Yeah, he kind of admitted it. So we're seeing that too. So these are all great things we as fans, especially not of the team, like to see. And we're also seeing like a lot of already a start to overtimes, which kind of leads into
a lot of overtimes already, and multiple overtimes, not just one overtime. We're seeing some of these go quite long.
Yeah, and again, it's great. And I always say, like, if the first overtime doesn't end in the first few minutes, it's going to go for a long time. So it's like, just keep going. In those cases, I kind of like rooting for the home team, because it's really, and it's so stressful. This is where I literally will actively think, like, I could never do this game. I remember friends being at Madison Square Garden with Henrik with this overtime streak, and I don't know how many overtimes it went into. It might have been one. It could have been 3 seconds, but I'm like, I couldn't even watch it. It was getting so, anxiety, and it was so tense. But I can't imagine being in the arena, when it's like, and it's because it's this thing where if it wins, if your team scores, that home team in that overtime playoff kind of mode, it's the best thing ever. You're on the ultimate high. But if you lose, it's just the complete opposite. There's no in between, unless it's like
especially for the fans that are there who spent, I'm sure, so much money on tickets, like so much money.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're not even at this game 7, but I think that one in Madison Square Garden where friends are was a game 7, which was the worst. I mean, it was the worst. It was like I couldn't even watch it. We ended up prevailing on that one, by the way. And my texts, everything fluttered, calls. It was great, So for that one. So yeah, we do have the potential to see a couple of these go a little longer than expected. So bring on a game 7 overtime. It's not my
and speaking of ranting, you have ranted to me several times so far in this playoff about your frustration with the broadcast, and I can't imagine you are the only person feeling this way. Most of the games that I've been catching have been either on like Victory Plus, so I'm not trying to change between games. I think you are doing a little bit more game hopping, so you're stuck with the ESPNs and the TBSs and TNTs of it all. What are you seeing? How are you feeling about this?
I hate it. They suck. So it started off for me with ESPN. I mean, look, they have double headers, but maybe ESPN, if you're listening, I mean, at least start off by saying what the hell you're going to do, because there's no room for overtime. So I was getting excited to watch the Ducks game, and and then that one game that was on went into overtime, and so I couldn't watch, and it went into like a double overtime. So they're like, oh, well, the Ducks game's on ESPNU. I'm like, well, I don't get that, so I don't even know where I can't do it. I can't get it. And then I got annoyed because I was texting you that, like switch it over to the Ducks game, because everyone's wanting to watch a game. Now the game had ended, and now they're going and doing the players of the game and the interview. And I'm like, none of this is important. Put it over to the other game that's supposed to be on. Most people in the nation only have a few ways to watch things, and we don't all have ESPN and on all the cable channels and everything. I'm one that does not. So I rely on what they have, and they're not even good at establishing, how they're going to do it and what the process is. It's just random. And then on top of that, the Ducks game played, and I don't even think the second guy was off the ice. It went right into like the football thing, and again, that people were complaining about that too. I mean, because it shut that down really quick.
Was it a couple of years ago? I think it was ESPN that had one of the games that was going into overtime, and they opted to switch over to like the pre-show before one of the other games' national anthems.
Exactly.
You're like, you're in overtime. What are you doing?
Exactly.
Go
and
back.
it took them way too long. They actually did figure it out, right? But I think it took 5 or 10 minutes.
Yes.
And everybody on the internet lost their minds, including myself. I know. I think we were like, what's happening right now? And so yeah, that is still a problem. That's going to work itself out. Look, this is right now we're in that mode where we're still getting hockey every day, a couple games a day. That's quickly going to be changing, down to one game a day, and then we're going to have gaps, and then we're going to get sadder, and then it's, the season's going to be done. Mm-hmm. So let's enjoy all the chaos while we have it. There have been other complaints too with just the fact that they're slow to do the replays, and just the way that the cameras are, and so there's that, and we also are seeing their correspondents, not do good jobs either. Meaning, like, there was a whole controversy with Leah Hextall. I think you watched that, right? You were watching that.
Yeah, she was interviewing. Who was it?
Tage Thompson.
Tage Thompson, and saying to him that Buffalo was the only team that he had ever known. And he was very nice and did not correct her, but that is actually not true at all.
The internet did.
So he played for like 3 other teams, but he was very nice about it. But that it just goes to show you, like, that if you are going to be a correspondent for a playoff professional team, you have to get that right. So either whoever's writing the questions or whether it was Leah herself, like you just can't make that kind of mistake. That's very frustrating. The internet will very quickly call you out on something like that. So hopefully we will see, that being adjusted. But, then you also have, I feel like half the time when I'm watching ESPN or the TNT crew, they're just winging it. They have no idea. They're just a bunch of people sitting in a room with no more planning than probably our podcast. We probably have more planning that goes into each of these episodes than what they are doing on a professional broadcast.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's as a fan, you would want a little bit more. You have, PK, who's been showing up in all kinds of bizarro world outfits. I mean, I guess that's his thing, but I don't know. That's not working for me. You had Mark Messier the other day trying to break down a play. He's holding a hockey stick and he's like using it as a little pointer, which is cute. It just feels like it's thrown together. And I do feel like with hockey, there's this sense that it's everybody's like sport that's last on their mind. So when they're coming to the broadcast, it gets the least attention, it gets the least planning, the least budget. And that seems to come across in the broadcast. That's how I feel about it. Hopefully that changes. I think that the ratings have been quite good so far for the broadcasters that are airing these games. So hopefully they see how popular hockey is getting. I feel like obviously it's much more in the zeitgeist this year than probably any other year between the Olympic teams, heated rivalry, what the PWHL is doing. I mean, there's a lot happening. So hopefully we get to take a little bit more of a front seat in terms of the professional sports.
Yeah, I think these guys just like a little bit of their attention. So that's kind of what I see too. So kind of to your point, I like them to kind of stay more professional. We know who the professional ones more are, like on there. They're the better dressed ones. And I'm not talking about PK.
I know who you're talking about.
Talking about Anson and Henrik, and Mark.
Yeah,
so
they're great.
And literally watching that, and I think there was one part of the broadcast where they had to stall and they really didn't even know what to say. Going to your point where it's like, you shouldn't wait. You should actually be more prepared. I have a thing for that on shows, that do that. Cause you're getting paid a lot of money. You should kind of know to wing it where it's not obvious to us. And when we're seeing it, that's kind of a failure because we do want the sport to grow. Yeah. They are comparing it to the NBA playoffs, which are running simultaneously now. And there's been a little, I've been kind of chatting on Twitter about it because hockey viewership is up considerably and it could be a push from the Olympics, which is great. Anything is a reason, and it's a good reason. So as long as people are watching it. Now, the only other thing now is when you compare it to NBA is on regular TV. It's on national TV. They play it on Channel 4. And we are having to watch it on stupid ESPN and TV and TNT. Again, if you don't have cable, then it's harder to watch. And also we have to find it. We have to know what channel it's on. When, if you just turn on your TV and you don't know what to do, the first thing you're going to come across is Channel 4. And you'll be like, oh, I'll just stick here. So the fact that we're doing so well on cable TV is pretty extraordinary. So because had we have like national TV coverage like we do with basketball, I think it'd be a completely different level of sport. So we're seeing that, and the good, we had a lot of contra this year with with the Olympics and everything. Anything that gets it going, that's what hockey's about.
Yeah,
and it kind of goes back to what you were kind of saying is like, do you think they're fighting to get more viewership? And they could be. I think the tension's real, and they're just kind of wanting to get through it because the matchups are so good, so but then we all like fights, and people get into it. It's fun to watch. And they're all fine. They all like it. So no one gets really hurt. Even as bloody as they are, it's still good and fun to watch. And they will all, as a reminder, they will all shake hands at the end of the series, even if they just tried to kill each other 3 seconds before. That's the beauty of hockey. No other sport does that.
Yep. And if you watch heated rivalry, they might also make out. You never know.
Ooh.
You never know.
Yeah, you know what? That could push us over NBA. That would be fun to see. I want to also kind of going, I think we're good, like where we're at now. Look, so much more. Like Ducks and Oilers are playing tonight, so we've switched arenas for most of these teams. In the next few days, we're going to start seeing some of the first teams go. Hopefully, the Kings aren't first, so we're going to do that. And then before, I don't want to, because I know it's coming up. It's going to start very soon, but I want to touch on the PWHL. Last week when we talked, there was a four-way fight for this fourth place spot. Right now, you have Montreal, Boston, and Minnesota all inked for their playoffs, which will start, I think, May 1st, or in the beginning of May, their playoffs begin. But we do have a fight still for this last spot. There was a great Sirens game where they were playing to stay alive in the hopes to stay alive. They tied the game, but they needed the win. As a reminder for PWHL, if you're not aware, PWHL wins get the team 3 points, and 2 points for an overtime win and 1 point for an overtime loss. So the Sirens needed the 3 points. It was a fantastic end to the game. They almost scored. It did go into overtime, and where they they basically were eliminated, and then they won in overtime. So the weird comment from the commentator was that literally the Sirens just won their own elimination game, which I don't think I've ever heard before. So and the good thing is with the games that remain, the way that the PWHL does it is the eliminated teams begin to earn their own place in the draft order by how many points they win. So it gives them incentive to just keep playing out the rest of the season and get those wins, because the highest place loser gets the first round draft picked. So and we are wearing our draft pick things too, because with where we ended up in, the Rangers, meaning the Rangers team, they actually have, I think, a good percentage chance of getting a first round pick, which we're going to kind of follow that. That's coming up very quickly as well. And so we'll see. So we're sitting back and waiting. I don't think we're going to get that extra credit for the trade, for the Panarin trade, but it's
not looking likely.
It's okay. He's still alive. I mean, I pack up all my stuff. So I just like Christmas decorations as the season winds down. So things have to go away. I'll keep some appropriate attire for the podcast, but I put it away, and it's summer season now, and I give everything a rest, good cleaning, refresh. And my apartment looks empty because everything's down and gone. That has been up for 8 months. So we'll quietly kind of go through the cycle with things. Yeah, Sirens are done. Rangers are done. The Kings are right there. So it's one more day at least. We have one more day at least for that.
We'll get your duck snuggie up in the back for the next episode.
Right over here.
Well, before we wrap up, we have an unboxing to do for you. So Christine has gotten her hands on one of the McDonald's giveaways that was exclusively for Canada. So this is an NHL McDonald's giveaway. She has gotten her hands on one. So we are going to unbox this now and see who she gets.
I know. So for our Canadian friends, whoever who has a whole set times 20, probably. Not only are we on the American side of things, but we're also very West Coast. So I did have someone special kind of send one over, and I love Canadian contraband. Keep sending us stuff. We're available to receive more. So it's in French, NHL Star sticks. These are hockey sticks that were given out with the Happy Meals, I believe, and McDonald's. And it could be McDavid, Matthews, McCarr, Hughes, and Reinhardt, Montembeau, and Celebrini. I want Macklin.
Ooh, okay. Wait. I'm gonna guess. I'm feeling.
I just want Macklin.
Feeling McCarr.
Are you feeling it? You feeling it?
What are you feeling?
I'm feeling Celebrini. I just want one.
All right.
With my luck, it's going to be like Hughes.
It's going to be Hughes.
Okay. All right. All right. Here we go. I'm going to open it nice and slow. Okay. It's a cute little box. So.
What a great giveaway. Way to go, McDonald's.
I know, McDonald's. Can we take notes here?
Bring it to the US.
I don't want a little dinky toy that turns into a ball, I don't go to McDonald's anyway, but cute little box. So it just show it has a little opening. And again, it's everything. The front is French, but the back is in English. So 2025-2026 season for McDonald's. Is it taped? Don't tell me it's taped. I'm gonna open this. I'm gonna try to open it this way so everybody can see with me. Ready? All right. Dun 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 dun.
Oh, Reinhardt.
There you go.
That's so cool. So it's a little mini stick. Can you?
It's a little baby stick. Let's see if I
get
can
it closer. Get it closer to the camera so we can see it.
I'm trying. There's glare.
There's a little glare.
That
is so cool. Is there a card or does it say anything?
Oh, here. This is where you can see it better. So, nope. It just has the McDonald and NHL logos. And I could. No, I don't really want to open this part. Does this? I guess you can take the stick out. I could take it out. Let's see. No, I don't know how this part's. Oh, open the top. Oh, this is better. So open the top and take the stick out. Okay, we're unboxing. So cute. Okay, and it's a baby stick.
Oh, that is so cute.
So
Does it say Reinhardt on the stick?
It says Jet Speed CCM. No, just Jet
but it's
Speed.
like it's still a little mini stick. That is so cute.
Stick. Super cute. McDonald's, why are you nice in Canada?
Yeah.
And you got to cater to grown-ups here too. So super.
Thank you to the friends of Double D-Fense who sent that. That is really exciting.
We will definitely add this to our little collection of, it goes with my, and I'll kind of end on another note too, because with hockey sticks, when we were in San Jose and I had my hockey stick beer. Have you seen that the Sabres have a Sabre one, but not only that, it's being resold for like a couple $100, this little plastic thing. And, good luck transporting that. Because remember when I was on the plane coming back and I put it on the floor because it wouldn't fit anywhere. And then when we landed, it shot up for us. Somebody had to hand it back to me over the seats, which is pretty funny. So like those are becoming more and more common for some of the teams to play. I think the Canes might have one too. So super fun, little addition to our hockey pile of fun things, So again, yes, thank you so much. Yeah, that was fun. We need more of these. People need to send us things. If you want us to unbox something, you should let us know. Reach out to us.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, everybody. We will be back again with you
very soon
to update you. Yeah, there's too much going on to leave too much time between episodes. So we'll get back to you next week. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Enjoy the playoffs.
Enjoy. Go Ducks.